Hi,
Hello, and happy Thanksgiving to those who are celebrating it.
and happy Thanksgiving to those as well who are celebrating it from me. And to those who aren't, happy day.
We wanted to talk to you all about some of the things we've seen, the questions we've seen posted on the Facebook group recently. And one of those is a question about illness while fasting. Is it worse or is it less um, symptomatic when fasting? And I haven't replied to the question because I wanted to see what the sort of honest responses were from the group first. It has been my impression from a lot of people emailing and replying on this Facebook group and so on over the past many years that symptoms of viral illnesses tend to be a lot less when somebody's on an intermittent fasting schedule like Fast 5. And after there are a few responses to the question that kind of supported that picture. And it makes sense because in um, the when a virus infects the body, the majority of the symptoms come not from what the virus is doing, but from what our immune system is doing to try to get rid of the virus. Lots of chemical hormones called cytokines are released, and those create things like fever and so forth.
It's a
And
battle. It's a battle body against the virus, right?
right.
Yeah.
And so the body side of the battle is usually what's creating most of the symptoms.
Hmm.
And so, since intermittent fasting and Fast 5 being among those schedules tends to decrease inflammation, that turns down that immune response a little bit. As far as we know, the battle still uh, wages. It just doesn't have quite as many symptoms as it
Hmm.
does with a typical infection on a typical eating schedule. So it was a reminder that intermittent fasting can take care of a lot of things. Fast 5 schedule is a good one to be on, but there are things that can happen that kind of throw a an obstacle in our path, and we have to get by those. And sometimes they're minor, and the virus just passes, and sometimes it lingers, and we need to um, remember that we can still get sick, and um,
Hmm.
if something goes on for a while, then it may need a doctor's help to look into.
Or another doctor's help. If you're seeing a doctor who has, for a number of weeks, just continued to treat symptoms or treated a problem that doesn't seem to be resolving, then it may be time to say maybe a second opinion. I mean, second opinions are really important when things don't seem to be going well or when they're going fine, but you need greater confidence that all of the avenues are being explored or the most reasonable avenues are being
Right,
explored.
and I think it's important to know that if you know that the that most people who are doing an intermittent fasting schedule have reduced symptoms, and yours are going on, then it's probably doesn't make sense to say, oh, well, this is just because I'm on an intermittent fasting schedule. There really is something probably going on that needs to
Right.
be looked into.
So that's that self-advocacy question, and um, it's not a panacea. Intermittent fasting is a very, very, very healthy lifestyle, but it will not fix all the ills of the world.
And it unfortunately won't keep all the viruses away.
No,
That would be nice, but
that'd be nice.
it, it doesn't.
Ain't happening,
No.
exactly. So another question from this week.
The next one is actually a comment, and it was noting that during a Thanksgiving meal that um, there was a sensation. I think it was a pre-Thanksgiving meal, uh, but at any rate, somebody mentioned feeling appetite correction during their holiday meal, and just like cut down the eating right then. So even when we take a break from an intermittent fasting schedule and take a day off, we can still see the effects of the uh, appetite correction, which says that you're eating you've had enough and it's time to stop, go and do something else. That's exactly what this person did. Um, and so even if you're taking a day off, it's still because you've been on it and used to the schedule and the appetite correction is in effect, it still keeps you from having to spend January and February working off the pounds that you put on between now and Christmas.
And so one of the questions is what to do. So you're sitting around a table and everyone's eating and everyone's still eating and kind of still eating and still eating, and your appetite says you're done. So it's not the time probably to go watch TV or go for a walk. I mean, it's still family or friend time, but it can be a time to fill your water glass or actually get a chance to speak because there's not food in your mouth.
Right. You don't have to worry about talking with your mouth full.
Right.
The rest of the family may not pause for that, but it's still nice to know that you're speaking without your mouth full.
Yeah. And so you can be, and also, hey, even better than that, you can sit back and listen and take it in. And when someone says, oh, these, whatever the dish is, these sweet potatoes are so wonderful, or who made this delicious salad? And it happened to be you. Your mouth won't be full. And you can say, I made the salad and thank you very much. I'm glad you like it. So anyway, it's a time to listen, a time to bristle sometimes.
Well, and a time to ask questions like
Yeah.
who have you not heard from at the table? Who's not, plenty of people are ready to take the floor, but who's being quiet? Who's not been talking? Maybe you can ask them a question and say, what's new with you?
So yes, what's new, and what's new with you? Yeah. So I had, I took note of, by the way, we're going to put a little tag on this that says who we are, but I'm Dr. Judy, Dr. Bert. I guess most of you guys know us, but maybe you don't. And if you don't, that's who we are. We are 2/3 of the Fast 5 appetite correction team. Our compadre is off in the hinterlands right now, but here in spirit. At any rate, there was one post today, or in the last couple of days this week, that I'm going to read because, or I'm going to what do you call it? Filter read it or excerpt it because, excuse me, it prompts a really good discussion, I think, about our appetite correction lifestyle and our intermittent fasting lifestyle. And here's the post. This is from Angela. My challenges, 9 out of 10 were completed. I'm sorry, I've got a tickle in my throat. Hold on. Excuse me. I would have completed all of them if I just chugged back a bit more water, but I was not going to do that just to get a perfect score. The challenges that I have set up for myself at the beginning of 2019 are to bring me enrichment, strength, balance, and flexibility. Rushing through them just to check it off in my planner is not whole and healthy for me. Been there, done that, not doing it anymore. Okay, and so what that made me think about was how important it is in our intermittent fasting lifestyle, our appetite correcting lifestyle, our anything lifestyle, to have the long game in our view, even as we are pursuing short-term goals, very tangible goals, and very focused goals. And Dr. Bert says this throughout the appetite correction book, and I don't know how much it's in the Fast 5 book. It's been a while since I've looked at that one, but at any rate, sustainability is one of the most important goals. And if you can't do something for a lifetime, then doing it temporarily needs to be very clearly defined as a temporary step. And so in looking at the long game, we have to look at things like balance. And certainly during this holiday season coming up, or this holiday season that many have just embarked upon with today's, at least US national holiday, it's going to be really important to look at balance, at sustainability, at the big picture. Do you have some thoughts on that?
Well, one of the things that comes up a lot with holiday gatherings is stress. And stress can certainly make us eat more. And in the AC book, I go into how our bodies are adapted to stress, but they don't really know that stress can come from reasons other than a predator chasing us or impending starvation. it's a little bit um, uninformed when it comes to our culture and what really is causing us stress. Lots of things do, but we respond to it the same way we did 100,000 years ago, and that is a signal to eat more. And so we have to be careful in a environment to be aware of our stress. Are we under stress? And if we are, then eating more is certainly not going to help that. It's going to hurt that. And so people can get very stressed about their eating when the reason for that extra eating is coming from outside somewhere. It may be family, it may be finances, it may be academic, school, getting close to finals now. Mm-hmm. And so it's important to recognize where the stress is coming from and then do what we can to either calm ourselves down. That may be meditation, yoga,
taking a
walk, exercising. A lot of people deal with stress in many different ways, but we have to know it's there and be aware of it to deal with it. Or we can address the stress, as the chapter in the book says, and that is to try to go after the source and do what you can to minimize it. And I know very well from a lot of family relationships that stress can sort of creep up and get bigger and bigger with particular members of the family. And it doesn't really have to be that way, because that stress is kind of built into us because we're in this family. But if we take a different perspective of that person in the family, or if we confront the family member, it can lead to a kind of big break in the stress and let both of you have a relief from the stress that has been building up over a long time. And so it just depends on where it's coming from and whether you can identify the source and do something about it. And if you can't do something about it, do something to help you dissipate it in your own body so it doesn't keep driving choices.
Right. And another option is to just maintain a boundary. And so, I mean, you can confront or take a new perspective, but you can also put up a boundary and you know, sometimes situationally just being avoidant makes sense. So I think there are tactics that one can use to address stress that this is definitely a time of year to know those, to work toward those. The Address the Stress chapter has a number of options that it describes. And so, you know, we're with you. We really hope that everyone has a wonderful year, a wonderful end of the year, and continues to thrive while I started to say while pursuing a fast 5 appetite correcting lifestyle, but continues to thrive, period. And, you know, in the study of one, how we thrive is different for every single one of us. So give yourself that.
And we're always looking towards the long-term things that work. And we look forward to your suggestions, your input. What worked for you has been a part of what we have shared with others. And like in the AC book, a lot of the suggestions and ideas and the thoughts have all not come from the two of us or our scientific journals, but from the practical day-to-day living, the life of appetite correction, of intermittent fasting, of fast 5. And we look forward to your input in the coming days, as that helps us help others, and we appreciate that.
Yeah, so we're a community and we're a crucible for growth. So happy day today. All right, we're going to say goodbye. All right.
Bye for now. Y'all take care. Thanks for watching.
Yeah, we appreciate it.